Hello, I'm Athath, and this is Chapter 2 of my 0% Growths LTC of Cerulean Coast. Kept you waiting, huh? This video was actually recorded around a month ago, but I held back on releasing it until I worked out the Chapter 3 clear, in case I had to go back and change anything. This has led to a bit of an awkward situation, as the hack is updated between when this video footage was recorded and when this voiceover is recorded. To list a few of the new changes, which won't be in effect for this recording, but will be in effect for the next one, every unit has Canto now, including infantry. Shove no longer triggers Canto, but Mince has Canto Plus now, so that he can still move after shoving anyway. Leadership stars are now given a void boost in addition to the hit boost that they gave before. Some of the early game bosses have been buffed. I went back and checked, and these changes thankfully don't invalidate my Chapter 1 clear or this Chapter 2 clear, although you would need to do different RN burns if you were to try to replicate my run yourself, as misses burn a different number of RNs than hits. Anyway, back to the run itself, you may have noticed that we are selling most of our mortal possessions. This is because we're going to be doing some shopping this map for tools that we will need for Chapter 3. You may have also noticed that we have a new recruit in the party, Gecko. Say hello to Gecko, everyone. She's a training unit with horrendous base stats, but great growth, so she would normally be horrible for a 0% growth run. However, she has two important qualities that will make her useful to us. One is that her personal weapon, the Pan, has a 50% base crit rate, which in a rig context is basically a 100% crit rate. The other will come up soon, but is the reason why she gets to stay on the team for this map. Most of the rest of the party has been benched, as Chapter 2 is another escape map, which means that our turn count will depend on our slowest unit. We are joined this map by Raylan, the Sword Pegasus Knight, and Riker, the Lance Knight. I'll elaborate on them when I move them. Gecko to show off her second important quality. Gale Force of Awakening Infamy. It's a skill that refreshes the user when they score a kill, once per turn. As Ellery and Oriana do their thing, I like to draw your attention to the chest instead of the map. It contains a D rank, 20 use rescue staff, which warps a distant ally to user. It is the only rescue staff in the game, but we will not be getting it in this playthrough, as it saves no turns to do so, nor does it boost our reliability. Getting it also wouldn't cost any turns for reliability, but I want to flex. Gecko changes Oriana's weapon here so that she won't use the valuable wind sword on enemy phase. On to Riker and Raylan. Riker's personal skill makes his attacks brave while he's at 75% HP or higher. He attacks the Axe Fighter here on player phase because the villager is the easier of the two for him to dodge on enemy phase. Dodging is very good for him as it lets him keep his personal skill active after a fight. Raylan uses her flight to visit this village for a stat booster that increases luck. This is actually important for Chapter 3's clear because the amount of rigging you'll need to do for it is just that bad. Ellery has been left unequipped for this enemy phase so that she'll be attacked first. That villager was the only attack that needs to be dodged this turn. The other ones were fine to hits or misses. That monk could have attacked and killed Gecko with 100% accuracy, but Gecko's Pan gives the Shade skill when equipped, which causes enemies to prefer attack other units over you. Oriana surges forward with Ellery, using her ability to dance. And Ellery takes out Fenya to one-shot the Sword Cav. Oriana can then use this ley line to heal herself and refresh herself, and give her attack buff, which lets her one-shot this Armor Knight here, which saves the Wind Sword use. Gecko gets a crit on this villager that we set up for her earlier, which lets her reach the armory. She starts her shopping trip. She buys a steel sword, a Zanbato, which is basically a better steel sword, except it's half the durability and price here. Also a steel lance, and a javelin, and another javelin, and a steel axe. All of these have been sent directly to the convoy because we filled her inventory with skeleton keys earlier. Riker attacks this archer so that he can open up a way to the ley line for Raylan, who can't pass through that pillar. Raylan uses the ley line to refresh herself so that she can pick up Riker and take him to safety, in air quotes. She does a short little rig there. I have no idea why this villager attacks Oriana. Raylan needs to dodge one of the two hits here, but is otherwise fine. If you were wondering how I would be able to get that rescue staff, I would have to deploy Lindros, have him swap with the monk on turn 1, open the chest on turn 2, and then on player phase turn 3, which is coming up, he would swap with the Axe Cat that just attacked Ellery, and Ellery would be able to pick him up and canto away with the new canto that all the infantry have. Raylan escapes. And Oriana and Ellery look to be escaping too, but, you know, Gecko's pretty far back. I don't know how she'd be able to get all the way over here with Gale Force. That's because she's not. I told you guys to say hello to Gecko at the start of this episode, now I'm telling you to say goodbye to Gecko. Because dead units do not have to escape. She is a sacrifice I'm willing to make. And that is Chapter 2 in 3 turns, which brings our total turn count up to 6 turns. Because I miscounted at the end of last map and said 1 turn instead of 3 turns. Join us next time for Chapter 3, which is actual hell.